What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Engineers Without Filters podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Thompson, and tonight I'm drinking Big Lake Brewing Raspberry Shandy, baby.
Surprise, surprise.
So good.
I'm Joseph DeGrandchamp, and I'm out here with a Shorts Brewery Humalupalicious.
Ooh. I'm Gabe, and I've got back to the KBC beers, the Point Trail Ale, classic UPB.
And I am Dayton, and I'm drinking the Two Roads Honey Spot Road IPA. Never had it before, but it's...
Is that a new one?
Yeah, it's a new one. It's brewed in Connecticut. It's pretty good. I don't know, I just had one sip of it. It's unfiltered, so I think I didn't really, shake the bottle up or anything or, twist it, so maybe that's kind of ruining it.
It's got some pulp.
I feel like that doesn't matter that much, though, because, M43 says, twist it, but, I just drink that stuff straight.
The last time I had it, after I finished it, because I poured it into a glass, I dumped the rest into the sink, and there was quite a bit of just
you're not supposed to drink all of it, but at the same time, it's it's there, and I'm not about to let that go to waste.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, welcome to episode 35 of the Engineers Without Filters podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at EWF Podcast. And you can find our shows on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube. And you know what? I'm announcing it right now, Joseph. We're axing SoundCloud, and we're going to do it. We keep forgetting to post there anyway because we don't auto-post there, and nobody listens there.
Yeah.
I haven't been updated the last two episodes.
Yeah.
SoundCloud was good.
We've only been getting one play anyways, and it's probably us checking to see if it works. So
if we ever get big enough where we can afford the additional $10 a month to get SoundCloud Premium to get all our shit there, but we're axing it. All right. So I'm making a note.
If it really causes you distress, let us know, and we'll send you a link to somewhere else to listen to it.
I'll tell you,
It'll just be a link to
flash drive to you every single week with the show.
No, not a flash drive, a CD, dude. We'll burn a CD for
them.
Okay. Because they still got one of those CD players.
But they have to ship it back after they listen to it. Because
so
we can't spend all that money on CDs.
Yeah.
Just reburn it every week.
Right.
All right, well, let's kick off the episode with good old Gub.
Oh, boy.
And now, Gub's audio, we should be all good now, because we're all in our designated places to record the podcast for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Joseph and I are in an apartment, Dayton's in his apartment, and Gabe is back at Houghton finally.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you betcha.
Kick us off, Gub.
Oh, so I wanted to talk about, I've been mentally trying to think of where I actually want to end up after school, and
physically or job wise, spiritually, in what ways?
You want to live in Houghton forever?
No, more as with a job and stuff that a place that would make me happy, not so if I went back to my hometown or I stayed in this town for my entire life, it would fucking suck. I think.
But you're talking about a physical place, living. not like a mindset or a mind.
Yeah,
state.
I don't know why I use the word mentally, because physically.
Well, when you talk to me about it, it's okay, you have to balance the physical location and how cool or fun that is with the job title,
right?
The job description. You have to kind of balance those two things out.
So what makes my field pretty nice is there's a lot of IT jobs all over the place, so I can kind of be, I'm going to start off being a little picky with my job search based on location. But the weird thing is I don't really know where I want to be. I was out west for 3-4 months, and that was cool, and I really liked Colorado and Utah when I visited there. And that'd be awesome to live there to do some snowboarding and all that stuff. At the same time, I've been struggling with my family is obviously in the Midwest, and there's a lot of you guys in Minneapolis and stuff, so I've even looked there just based off the fact that you guys are there.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it just I wanted to talk about how do you even pick a place, if you had the choice or had the ability to have some form of choosing, how would you go about it, and what would matter to you most? Because right now I'm kind of gauging it off of hobbies outside of work. Obviously, I want a good job title and something that'll help me build to the next thing.
But you're saying, like, theoretically, if you could pick the perfect job in 50 states, which state would you go to?
Correct. That is
Okay.
the thought.
Okay, well, straight off the back, fuck Florida. All right, Florida
Oh,
is
dude.
just out of the picture.
Literally, the South. I have not been looking in the South at all. Fuck that.
Well, Joseph, you looked in the South for a little bit.
Yeah, where I was, it wasn't bad. In Huntsville, Alabama.
I mean, Huntsville, Alabama is like, I think, top tier southern cities. So
It's like 40 minutes south of I want to say
is it
Tennessee.
Bingham?
Whatever.
I thought it was Bingham, Birmingham.
Well,
Bingham.
Birmingham's an hour south or 2
Oh,
hours
okay.
south, but it is south of the northern border. I don't know what. No, I think it's Tennessee. It's northern border.
We still have
which-
another border.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
They're
Call
so
me
far
crazy, but I want some snow or some fucking form of winter. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we're big snowboarders, me and Joseph. So, like, that's a big thing for
But
me.
I mean, we've had this conversation before. I don't know if it was on the podcast or not, but like, you can always fly or travel to snowboard.
yeah, like
Yeah,
I
that's
grew
true.
up snowboarding in Michigan, and I wouldn't live in Michigan for the snowboarding. Like that's not.
Yeah.
That's not a destination place except for Mount Bohemia by school.
Yeah.
So to me that wasn't a huge deal. It's like I've always flown out
Flown
west or
Yeah.
wherever to go snowboarding. So
Yeah. See, I've never done that. I mean, it's gonna be weird when I actually have money to be able to take those trips.
and that's the thing. It's like I
So-
know that I'm gonna get like a decent job. I have
Right.
a decent job that I can make that work.
Eventually, I'll get a decent job.
You have a
Well,
decent job right now, Joseph.
No, I know. When I was looking for a job, that was my mind. I'm
I'm
putting
just
myself in
saying-
Gabe's shoes pre-graduation.
I'm just saying, it would be awesome if I lived somewhere where it was like under half an hour I could go after work. That would be
You
fucking
say that
amazing.
right now.
Until I'm tired as
Yeah,
shit
I
after
was gonna
work.
say,
until,
like-
until you get home from working, and then you have to do all of like chores and shit, and then you only have like a few hours left in your night, and you're just like, fuck.
The
Yeah.
thing is,
I could just go to
too,
bed.
like
That's true.
in out west and places, the hills close or the runs close at like 4 o'clock. So like you can't go after work. There is no night skiing.
Well, that's
you know,
horseshit.
so-
Unless you're like getting up super early. But
yeah,
I
and I
get a
mean like
feeling
yeah,
I'm gonna
there's
do
the
that.
weekends, but and then to me, I almost wouldn't want to live there because then it's just mocking me all the time. It's like I could be doing that, but instead I'm working.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do that.
Guess. Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. I think there's other things to do besides that too. Obviously, there'd
Well,
be tons
You
of
can
hiking
look at the
and mountain biking
mountains. You
stuff.
can eat some snow. You can.
Dig your car out for the
Yeah.
third time
Yeah.
this week.
Dude, at this point, I'm used to it. Like, it's not my favorite thing to do, but
Yeah.
I'm
It
used
still
to-
pisses me off. I remember when we were in Houghton like last winter. You get like 2/3 the way through, and you're like, "Fuck this!"
Yeah.
Like, I should be used to it by now. Every winter I've had to dig out my car, but it's like,
No,
it still
it's like
pisses me off.
April. It's around April. Like, what? I'm still fucking shoveling out my car every morning.
Yeah,
But I
debilitating.
it's one of those things that you eventually just kind of you're like, all right, this is a thing that happens. You
Yeah.
know?
I'm looking at a map of US right now, Gabe, and let's just get some regions down. You know what I'm saying? So you're saying
Okay, so my big
when you
ones
say the
are
South,
like,
you're saying like the South, never eaten Southeast, right?
yeah.
I'm bad at directions. Okay,
Did
Joseph,
you
don't mock
just
me. Never
Yes.
eat soggy waffles. You gotta get it down. Gabe.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, fuck the South. I have.
Okay, what about Texas? Is Texas on the table?
I don't think so.
I've heard Austin is cool.
I've heard good things about Austin. Dallas isn't bad. Trying to think where else.
See, I've heard
Really.
good things about Texas, except like.
I've heard good
Anytime-
things about regions of Texas,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
Texas as a
Anytime
whole.
like, I
Yeah.
think of someone from Texas, I just think of like someone in like
A hillbilly
like
cowboy.
a bucket hat, or what are those hats called?
Yeah.
Like the 10-gallon hats.
Cowboy
like,
hats.
Yeah,
chewing
10
on some,
gallon,
chewing on
yeah.
some straw, and just like, yeehaw! I don't know.
One of my high school friends grew up in the Dallas area, and when he moved to Michigan, he came to school wearing cowboy boots. And he
Got
rid of-
crucified. Yeah.
just murdered in school. It was pretty funny.
Well, like the real problem with Texas is like in the summer it's like 110 degrees. Like it is fucking hot.
Yeah. Like
So-
when Jake, different, not Jacob.
Yeah.
He was in Arizona, and I visited him one time, and it's just you don't go outside in the summer because it's too hot. It's like,
Yeah.
I guess kind of here in the winter, right? You don't go out when it's -20. I mean, we did it anyways because we're idiots.
Yeah.
But
I feel like
a
it's-
search
it's-
for booze, so
maybe it's just
yeah,
like
it was all for beer.
hindsight, but like in my opinion, it's easier to go outside when it's -20 than it is to go outside when it's like 100.
Oh yeah, and I totally can handle the cold more than I can the heat. Like you can only take so much off, but you can put more layers on.
you can't go naked,
Yeah.
So
No,
The-
exactly.
The worst part is like when you have to go outside for like 2 minutes, but your
Mhm.
body's like, oh, it's time to sweat, and then you sweat for the next 10 when you're inside. It's like, god fucking damn it, like
Mhm.
I'm not even that hot.
Well, that was the thing I was gonna say. So we were going to the mall because we were gonna watch a movie. I forgot what movie it was. It might have been Spider-Man. But we went to go see a movie, and we went to this mall, and there's all these cars parked in these little slots, like way far away, because there was just a small tree of shade that would like cool their car off just enough. So we parked way out of the way just because it was under a tree. And like all their cars over there are like tinted. It's illegal in Michigan to have your car tinted so you can't see through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
the front
in other
driver's
states,
side.
especially out there, it's like encouraged, because you don't want to.
Well, because your
Yeah,
car,
my-
like cars can get up to like the mid-100 degrees.
Oh yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
All your
sister
shit
lived
melts.
in Arizona for 2 years because she went to school out there.
Hmm.
And yeah, she bought a car out there, and she got pulled over a couple times driving in Michigan because the car windows were tinted and stuff.
But if it's manufactured, they can't like. If it was manufactured that way, they can't give you a ticket for it. But yeah, they like. He was staying at like an Airbnb, and the owners were saying that they judge people who like have grass because it costs so much water for them to like, to
To
maintain
upkeep,
it.
Well, they have like the fake grass, don't they?
Well, it's just like a
That or, like,
status.
rock
It's like a
garden.
status symbol because usually people use
Oh,
rocks.
yeah.
But having like grass itself is like a big status.
Yeah, makes sense.
But it's just
That
a lot
and
of water.
pools.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of Arizona, let's move over to the west, which you were at this summer. So you got the big four: New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Colorado. I feel like Utah and Colorado are a little more desirable just because, again, the temperature, but
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
Would you consider New Mexico and Arizona the West though?
yeah.
I feel like that's more
I
southwest.
mean, well,
it's
yeah,
southwest.
Well, because the
Yeah.
problem is, like,
Because when I
what's
think
the
of,
west
'cause
then?
I'm thinking like Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana.
Well, because then we're in the Northwest, Pacific Northwest, which I know is more
But I
like
wouldn't
Oregon and Washington, but that's what I still think of. But I guess
was
you're
gonna
right.
say, I wouldn't consider Montana or Idaho part of the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
suppose.
don't know. It's
Anyway.
southwest.
Like, would you go
uh,
back to New Mexico, though, Gabe?
I would for a few years if I had to. I think I could go back and work there for a few years because there is so many mountains. You can still do like the snowboarding and stuff, and there's obviously mountains for mountain biking.
Well,
but-
worst case, you could drive to, somewhere close by. Like, you could
Yeah.
drive to Colorado or something.
Yeah, the only thing that like kind of sucks about it is I don't know. Like the summer honestly wasn't that bad. It just there isn't a lot to do in that place that I was at, and Albuquerque's like 2 hours away, but that's not like a very. I don't know, I've heard mixed things about that town. But
It's where Breaking Bad takes place.
right.
Would any of you guys want to live in Nevada? I feel like it gets a bad rap because of Las Vegas, but I also know nothing about Nevada except for Las Vegas.
I know some friends from
prostitution
Nevada.
is legal in Nevada, but not in Las Vegas. So that's maybe a
all I
point
know
for,
about
maybe
it.
a point against. Depends on your opinions on it.
Well, Nevada and Arizona have some really pretty areas, like up towards the mountains. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, it seems like the only cities are like Reno and Las Vegas. There's not a lot
Yeah.
else.
It's a lot
Yeah.
of empty desert.
Out there's just a lot of cities and then nothing forever. It's super weird. It's just so bizarre because you drive through Michigan and you there's tons of cornfields, but you'll run into another town eventually. It's just not the case out
Yeah,
there.
unless you're in mid-Michigan.
Yeah.
There's small towns in mid-Michigan.
Yeah.
There's Amish people.
Yeah, too.
Mennonites, Joseph. Watch Letterkenny if you haven't. Okay, what about California, Gub?
I don't have the money for that. That's a no-go.
You have to live in LA.
Yeah, it depends where in California.
That's
it's not
true.
like the entire state is expensive.
True. It wouldn't be
the
Silicon
two-
Valley, but that's where like a lot of the IT jobs are, obviously.
That's a good point.
But if it was like
I'd say.
Silicon Valley, no. If it was like Northern California, like potentially, yeah. Or somewhere that isn't like as over inflated, I guess.
I don't know. Yeah, I think North California would be nice, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, then you're by Washington, so.
Well,
You
yeah,
get a
that's
lot
the
of
next.
rain. Well, you
That's the
gotta hit
next area we're
Oregon
going
first.
to. Go. We're working our way around the country now. We're in Pacific Northwest, Oregon, Washington, Idaho.
I just don't know enough about that area, man.
I think it's pretty. I don't want to say it's underrated. I feel like it's not talked about very much.
Are you kidding me?
Washington and Oregon, those are like the millennial meccas.
Yeah.
Well, they're super hipster, but like I feel like they don't come up a lot, at least in our
Are
conversation.
you talking about Seattle and Portland specifically?
Yeah, Seattle, and
Specific,
Portland.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's a couple other areas, but mostly those two.
Right.
But like I'm saying, like besides those two
Rains a
cities,
lot.
like nobody really talks about like Washington State or
The
Idaho
mountain
or
talking
biking
any of
about
over
that
there is amazing.
stuff.
Yeah, that's true. That's where a majority of the hops are grown in the United
Mm.
States, in that area.
Interesting.
Fun fact, I learned this at a brewery that I was touring, but they used to be grown in the Midwest, just because that's where already a lot of farming is. But this mold went through and just like destroyed the crop one year. I don't remember when. In the Midwest, but it can't, for whatever reason, the climate in the Pacific
It's, like,
Northwest.
too
it
cold or
can't
something?
Really, yeah, it can't like spread. Like some areas will get it, but it won't spread that it'll devastate the entire crop. So that's just where a lot of the hops are grown.
Makes sense.
I
So
mean,
if
I
you
can
want to grow
attest-
hops, that's the place to move to.
Yeah. I mean, I can attest how beautiful it is out there. I visited their spring break a couple years ago, and it's fucking gorgeous. There's so much, like the terrain is so varied.
That was
you have, like-
Seattle, right?
Yeah, I went to Seattle,
Okay.
and like, so you can go hiking, you can go to the beach because you're on the ocean. If you go far
Mm.
enough, west, then you have mountains. Like it's fucking gorgeous. But you would not want to live in Seattle though, dude. Seattle is insanely expensive.
Yeah.
So you'd try to want to get something like around there, but
Right. I guess I didn't mention before, but like ideally I'd be in like a slightly bigger town, not like Chicago or New York massive, because I think that'd be just a little too busy for me. But somewhere that's like a little bit bigger and has like a nightlife. But I know it's like super
So
hard to get
roughly
both,
the size of Minneapolis.
but, yeah, but also has some nature stuff. You know, like it's
You-
hard
you
to get
want
both.
too much, Gabe.
I know. I have like something isn't gonna make the cut, and I understand that. But I'm just saying that would be ideal, which is why out west is like appealing, because you can, like I said, you can drive 20 minutes out of a town and then you're in fucking nowhere. You know.
I mean, I think it'd be really cool to live in Montana or Wyoming. I don't know if there's anything there. I mean, there's, like,
Idaho
little
is pretty
There's-
cool.
There's Jackson
Idaho
Hole,
would be cool.
Wyoming. That's a pretty dope place. Been there.
Wyoming, Idaho, all those like northern states like up there are sleeper picks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have to keep that in mind.
What about the Dakotas?
No desire.
I've heard only
That
bad things about South Dakota.
Yeah.
Dude, the entire vertical. So we have North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma. Just
dude.
get the fuck out of here. Just
Dude.
it's just too flat. Like everything's too flat.
Kansas and Iowa are the two most boring states I've ever had the displeasure of driving through. It is a fucking field for 11 hours. That's all it is.
Well, and it's like then you go to the next one over, and you have Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana. I feel like the only ones that are like Minnesota's the only viable one there.
Yeah,
At
I
least
mean,
for,
in my
for
mind.
what we're interested in.
Yeah.
Missouri's not bad. I've heard good things about I don't
Kansas
remember.
City.
Yeah, Kansas City and there's another major city. I forget what it's called.
I
My grandma lives St.
The
Louis.
one with the arch.
Yeah, St. Louis.
Yeah.
The one with the arch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard
What Dayton
good things
said.
about those areas, but
My grandma lives in Missouri, so I visited there when I was a kid. We only went to the one place, though, Springfield, Missouri. So I
Mm.
can't really speak to like the big cities, but that's fine. It's hot.
Right.
Pretty typical.
Oh,
southern
dude,
state.
that's hot. That's real hot.
I heard you gotta watch out for hitting armadillos on the road instead of hitting
Missouri?
skunks. Yeah,
Really? Oh, I never
yeah,
heard that.
that's what my friend went to school at Mizzou. That's what he was saying.
Mm.
It feels like you're hitting a rock like, you know, a good
Dude, armadillos are fucking cool.
But it's an animal.
yeah, a good sized animal too. So you really feel bad,
Yeah.
and you're worried you're gonna dent a rim.
Joseph saw me almost hit a squirrel the other day. I was scared.
I watched him almost hit it. It was pretty funny.
I mean, Gabe, Minnesota's a pretty good pick. I mean, come on. Joseph, back me up here.
I
No.
mean, other than your bike getting stolen the first day you moved here.
Yeah, that's
Solid.
because I was dumb.
Like I said, a big reason I want to go there is because I have so many people that I know there, and that would be really fun.
I mean, don't count on me. I'm leaving in May, but you'll have Joseph and Cooper at least.
Yeah, that's true. No, you guys will leave by the time I get a job there. That's how it'll work.
+1, -1.
Hey, you can just move in with Joseph.
I'll let you
Yeah,
figure
I'll have
out.
an apartment.
You'll-
I'll
yeah,
just sign
you're
this
looking-
apartment for another year. You move into Jacob's room. Be perfect.
There we
Bada
go.
bing, bada boom.
I don't know. I mean, it was a cool visit when I went there. I mean, there's a lot of
Except
stuff to do.
Wallet getting stolen.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but you live and you learn, right? Now we know never to go back there,
Now Jacob knows to lock up a bike.
Yeah.
even
Yeah,
if it's
you
on
know-
a balcony.
Even if it's on a balcony, but whatever. I've gotten over it. It was my mistake. I'm not mad at the world. The world just didn't like me that day. So I feel like the only place left is the Northeast, because I know you're not going to Ohio
No.
For Indiana.
Fuck
or anywhere,
that.
or
Go
probably not Illinois
Buckeyes.
either. I got mixed feelings about the Northeast, because on one hand I don't know a lot about it. Dayton, obviously you can speak to it.
I heard
but, like,
Connecticut sucks.
I feel like it's kind of got a bad rep for being expensive, but I don't really know too much.
Dude, the
Isn't Vermont
Northeast-
like super expensive?
No, not really, dude. A lot of the places in the Northeast, like New England area, are not that expensive. Like outside of the cities, it's not bad at all.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I saw there's some areas in like North Carolina that have a lot of mountains because they have the Appalachians in the top.
Yeah,
They got really good
Northwest
mountain
side?
biking up there.
Yeah, and
I've
good
heard-
I feel like-
snowboarding.
Nashville.
I've
Yeah,
heard Atlanta is a really cool place to live too, because yeah, you're pretty close to some mountains there, and you're
Mhm.
What
Atlanta's
state?
a good sized city. Atlanta, Georgia.
Georgia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Asheville's
I think
another
Atlanta's,
city
like,
that has a lot of young
northern
people moving
Georgia.
to it too.
hmm Asheville's a hipster mecca too.
I
feel
mean,
like the
I don't think.
Carolinas are kind of sleeper picks as well.
Yeah,
The what?
You know, the Carolinas.
I think there's a lot of young people in Minneapolis though.
North
like,
Carolina is. South Carolina is just kind of.
I don't know if I would call Minneapolis a hipster mecca, but there's a lot
There,
of.
there
young
are a
people
lot of hipsters there though.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
There are. It's not as bad as like
hipster.
Portland, but
yeah,
It-
but I'm
it's
saying there's a
young-
lot
of young people, but I don't
Right,
know
yep.
necessarily hipster.
Dude, that's the way Denver was when I visited for a day. It was just like I don't think I saw one person over 30. Okay, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but like out when I was out and about and whatnot, it was just a ton of young people,
Mhm.
which is just crazy. It's just such a new
Smoking
town.
that ganj, you know.
Mhm.
I was telling Joseph at the bar the other night, it's kind of weird because like this whole summer when I was in Houghton, it was like not very many college kids. Even if there were any, they're probably younger than me because, you know, I just graduated, so I was like 22, right? So a lot of like probably second or third year college students and like a bunch of high schoolers obviously who are off for the school year. So everyone I see is probably younger than me, and I'm like, okay, this is weird. And then we get to Minneapolis and we were at the bar,
Everyone's
and I'm looking
older
around,
than
and everyone's probably like, they look like 30, and it's like, God, this is fucking annoying. Like, there's like nobody my age around or our age around. It feels like.
Yeah,
just can't
we're not
win.
really in like the younger people area. I mean, there is like an area kind of closer to where Cooper lives.
Yeah.
There's more younger people, but I don't want to fucking live
Dinky
there.
Town.
Yeah, Dinky
Yeah.
Town.
Even like St. Anthony is a little bit probably younger than where we are,
Yeah.
but
Hmm.
it's just interesting.
That is interesting.
But yeah, I feel like for all of us, I feel like we all kind of similar interests in where we like to live, and I feel like we're all gonna end up in the top half of the country. You know,
I'd like to keep it that way. Yeah.
Like geographically or like
geographically. Yeah.
ranking rise.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. I was just curious. You guys didn't give your guys' answers. I guess Joseph, you're kind of in Minneapolis. And...
I moved to Minneapolis, so I'm gonna stick with Minneapolis.
Wait, like.
Well, would that be your
like,
first
dream
pick
place?
though? Like, if you could go anywhere else, would you go somewhere else?
I mean, given my situation, I don't know. My first priority was a job. I wanted a job to get on my feet. And then once I have experience, after like 5-6 years, then I'll like be more picky about where I live.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah, I was looking for a job, and wherever that happened to be is kind of where I would have gone.
But this is a fantasy question where you get to pick.
Okay, well, if I can live wherever the fuck I want, then
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd probably move to Europe. I think it'd be kind of cool. I don't know where. I haven't really thought it through. But you guys pretty much cut out most of the world, so and if it's a who needs a visa? It's a fantasy question, right? So
Yeah.
probably Switzerland has really good skiing. So that could be a
that's
cool area
true.
to live.
Let's move to Switzerland
Japan.
together.
Japan's got some good mountains there too.
You weeb.
Yeah, gotta get those. Gotta get in on the good anime from the source.
Drink it straight from the source.
I feel like my fantasy pick actually might be like in Idaho,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
Because Idaho.
Oh,
Oh, Jesus. Both at the same time. Yikes.
I will say, as much as I love like living in Minneapolis, like with Joseph and stuff, it's too many people, man. Like going shopping stresses me out, and I know Joseph's gonna be laughing at me because I was driving around the cart the other day and it was too heavy,
In a
and I was like
Target.
trying to dodge people, and there's people fucking everywhere, and just drives me nuts. Like I miss Houghton, where I could just go to the store and just not give a shit, and just take my time looking at things and to figure out what I want to buy. In Minneapolis, I feel like if I don't move fast, then people are gonna get mad at me, So it's
I'm just glad we didn't
stressful.
go shopping this weekend because it's the weekend or
Labor
this
Day.
last weekend. Because,
Oh.
Huh? No, this last weekend because that's when a bunch of college kids are moving in. So
Yeah.
all the Targets and all that shit are gonna be packed.
Well, and the
So it's just-
Minnesota State Fair is this weekend too, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
we don't-
avoiding that like the
We're not
plague.
going there.
Yeah. Cooper
only
sent
good
me a
reason to
snap
go-
of him being there.
The only good reason to go is because they have like exclusive craft beer. And it's
Yeah.
like maybe, but it's
If
not
I
worth
got
it.
a free ticket, like I did last year from Cooper, I would go.
How much does it cost to go?
I have no idea.
I don't even know. Probably like between 25 and $50, I would guess. I have no idea.
Too damn much.
I was talking to some guy I work with, who's lived in Minnesota like his whole life, and he's like, "Yeah, I go like once every 6 years to remind me why I don't go."
Dude, one of the
That's
ladies
about-
I'm working with, like it's like a family tradition. Like they go multiple times a year, and they get there at like 8 a.m. and they leave at 5.
They sound like
And they just, like-
masochists.
They just like eat all day, because that's all you
Ugh.
can do at the state fair is eat and
That sounds
drink.
terrible.
It sounds
And it's
terrible
like-
for you.
Dude, they fucking sell. Were you there, Joseph? We were talking to Perkins about they sell deep fried butter.
Oh,
I mean, I've heard of deep fried butter.
Like they literally just like take some butter and like roll it in cinnamon and then deep fry it. Like, how fucking dumb are you? That's like instant diabetes.
You might as well
That's
just
fucking
eat fried
gross.
batter
Like-
at that point. Like,
That is so awful for you. I just imagine like trying to like jam a stick of butter through a straw, and then that's your arteries. Except imagine the straw like one of like those coffee stir straws that are like a millimeter in diameter, and
Yeah.
jamming a stick of butter through there. It's like, yeah, no wonder Americans die when they're like fucking 60 years old because of heart disease.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
And
oh
right.
gosh. And what's your
Anyway,
answer?
Idaho.
Yours is Idaho. Do you have a space, a spot in Idaho? Or is
Dude,
it-
I know. I guess Boise. I don't know any other.
Boise.
I just imagine you like sitting on a farm and like I'm pulling up and you're in a rocking chair at the beer.
Dude, I'm fucking down for that. Well, like I'm in a weird spot right now because I'm trying to look for grad schools, and I've been telling Joseph I'm having a really hard time finding professors who are doing what I want to do, because I want to do this like nutrition and mental health connection, but it's a very new field and it's mostly in Australia right now. So there's like 0 U.S. professors doing it, and I found a couple that like, yep, we're not taking grad students right now, sorry. And it's like, so at this point, like I'm just trying to get in wherever I can get in is doing it. Like I don't really care what where it is, you know.
Right.
But
That's the fun part about the hypothetical, though.
Jacob, I imagine that you had a deck of 50 cards. Each card had a U.S. state on it, and you just picked out a random one. It happened to be Idaho, and you're just like, shit, what's a city in Idaho? Boise.
Okay, name another city in Idaho, Dayton.
I don't fucking know.
Nobody knows.
I can tell you. I can tell
I'm
you.
looking it up. But like, because Idaho is like in that part of the U.S., which seems cool, right? And it's, I feel like it's more populated than like Wyoming and Montana.
All I know is there's
can
mounds
guarantee
and
you that
potatoes.
There's a green field. There's a green field, Idaho. I don't know how big it is, where it is, but I can almost guarantee.
That's
you
the
there's
most
a
generic
green field.
city name in the fucking world.
I'm just fucking hedging my bets right now, dude.
There's a ski resort called Grand Targhee. I'm pretty sure that's in Idaho.
Oh yeah, I thought that was in Wyoming though.
No, Jackson Hole's in Wyoming. I'm pretty
Oh, I'm
Wyoming.
getting confused.
sure on the border. Yeah, it's at the Grand Tetons.
Just
Fun
give
fact,
Tetons.
Tetons is just French for boobs. They just called it the Grand Tits.
Okay, so we got Boise is number 1 with 230,000 people.
It's a decent city.
That is decent size.
Then you got Meridian,
Never heard
Nampa,
of that.
Idaho Falls,
It's
Pata-
creative.
Pocatello, Caldwell, God damn it, Cordeline. Whatever the Head and the Heart album is, if you know what I'm talking about, it's the same thing.
It's an Alter Bridge song too. Coda Lane or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really helped there, Gabe.
Yeah, I didn't help at all.
I mean,
I just know
I'll
it from
put
a
it
song.
Can you guys read that? Oh, it's backwards. Never mind.
Oh,
No,
it's
we're dealing.
French or
It's
something.
Coeur d'Alene. That's what it is. That's my final answer.
I'm not recognizing any of these places except for Boise.
Hey, look up Greenfield, Idaho.
Okay. I'll look up Springfield next. Greenfields.
There's gotta be one. There's gotta be.
Yep,
hope
there is.
I knew it, dude. I
Damn.
knew it.
How many people?
Wait, hold on.
If it's under 3,000, it doesn't count.
Hold on. Nope, there isn't.
What?
Sorry, there's a shop called Greenfield Custom Meats.
That's close
But-
ance
It's in Meridian.
It's not a city. It's a meat market.
It's close enough.
I'm looking up this in Springfield.
Is that where you would go, Dayton? Greenfield
To
meat
a
market?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of that, okay, so this is like an inside joke with us, but like
Oh, jeez.
Dayton, you know the magnet we had of you like doing like the face?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Me and Joseph are using that to hold up our like chart of meat temperatures, like how long to cook meat.
You're a bunch of motherfuckers.
Fucking hilarious.
I'm gonna mail you guys some like pubes or something. I don't know.
I was thinking you were gonna go with like vegan recipes or something.
No, you know those
Just
spring
straight
boxes? You know those spring boxes?
Oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dayton, what you need to do is, like when you donate 10 cents a day to like save a dog, and they send you like pictures of the dog. Do they have like innocent chickens or something? Just tell their story or whatnot.
Man, fuck chickens. Chickens are stupid. Dude, they suck. They're mean.
dumb.
They're dumb.
Sorry, Dayton, what's your dream location?
I don't know if I really have
Hamilton.
Absolutely fucking not. I don't really know if I have like a location or not. I don't know, but I really liked like New Hampshire. New Hampshire's really cool. So is Vermont. I've wanted to live in Vermont since I was in like middle school. But I think New Hampshire is cooler because you get like once you get up in like the northern parts of it, you get like the rolling hills and it's like all really heavily wooded with deciduous trees. So like in the fall, it's super beautiful. You got a lot of rivers up there. I don't know. It's just like there's no big cities really, and it's just like farmy, but like not like agricultural farms. It's like orchards and stuff like that.
Isn't that still agriculture though?
Okay, but I guess when I say farmy, like I guarantee you that people are thinking like
it's not corn
like
fields
corn.
and wheat
Yeah.
fields.
Yeah.
Corn
It's
and
not
wheat.
big agriculture trying to take your
Well,
money or
it still
some
can
shit.
be.
yeah,
It can be.
it's
yeah,
not
but
like
like vineyards and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
yeah. So that's really cool up there. And then I mean, where I just was
You think
last
Welch's
weekend.
isn't big agriculture? You know how many acres, thousands of acres of grapes they
Shut
got
up, blueberry
over
boy.
there? Hey, just saying.
No, but I mean, where I was last weekend backpacking, there were some like 4,000-foot mountains there, and that was really cool to hike in. So
That sounds dope. All right, well, let's move on to our next segment. And I have a title for it, and it's, it's wait for it, right? It's called
He wouldn't tell us before.
It's called
cracked it.
a Paxi for your thoughts. You get it? 'Cause it's like Penny, but Dayton's last name is Pax.
oh my god.
That was not worth saving.
I thought
I was
it was
telling,
pretty good.
I was telling Joseph before. I'm like, Joseph, what the fuck is a way to incorporate Dayton's name into a penny for your thoughts? We could not think of anything. So that's
So
the
you
best I
just
got.
jerry rigged it in and called it good.
Yeah, we really shoehorned that
Yeah,
one.
Yeah.
you did.
It's like they're shoving the stick of butter through the coffee stick again.
Hey, there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, I guess so.
So in this segment, Dayton pulls out his thought list where he writes down interesting thoughts he has.
Not
We're just
to
gonna-
be confused with my thought list.
Which is much longer than his thought list.
And we're just gonna talk about them. Sometimes they'll be short, sometimes they'll be long, but we'll see what happens.
Okay.
So,
Well, Jacob, I
hit
know
us
that
up.
you.
If
I
this
sent it to
segment's
you
coming back,
earlier.
it's getting a new name.
I mean, I want you to shot call on this because I mean, there are some like short ones that I
Mhm.
didn't mention. So just, you go for it.
But I
Whatever
mean,
you want to do.
you had specifically seen some that you wanted to talk about, though.
All right. How about this? I pick one, you pick one.
All right, fine.
Did you send the list to him or something?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're talking about it this morning. We were thinking about
yeah.
topics.
Gotcha. Don't put it on the Google
There's
Drive
one-
for all of us. I get it.
Yeah, don't include the rest of us in
Yeah.
this discussion. That's okay.
Yeah.
I
There was
would
one
want
I-
to be a part of what happens in this group.
Where was it? There's one I disagree with you with. Okay.
Oh. Okay.
Ooh, let's
Yeah.
start with that one.
Oh, all right.
Let's fight.
Next episode, we broke up, and it's just two of us. It's two engineers.
We have
Alright,
rival
so-
podcasts.
And
now.
then there's one that's like engineers without filters 2 or something stupid like that.
So these are Dayton's words here. There really are no objectively right choices in life. There are better choices for different people regarding their circumstances, but what is right for one person is the worst for another. Like with how my friend wants to stay in West Michigan, and I like to try living in new places. His choice is one of the better options for him, and my choice might be one of the better ones for me. For example, if the roles changed, we might likely would have been unhappy. The fact that there aren't any right choices is simultaneously scary and liberating. There are, however, good and bad decisions, but no good right decisions.
How stoned were you when you
I wasn't under the influence of anything, dude.
just of
like-
life.
Yeah, I was just.
He was high on life.
Yeah.
So, I would say there is an objectively right choice when it comes to matters of like murder or rape. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
Like
pretty sure that's
I
a
feel
fucking
like
logical fallacy right there.
No, hold on. So, I actually have an interesting anecdote to this. So, in high school, I took a intro to philosophy class. So, I know everything there is to know about philosophy. And basically, we had a discussion over what is something that is universally wrong.
Mhm.
And, someone would say murder. And the professor would say, oh, well, in this culture, he'd list off a couple cultures across the world and say, actually, because of these, it's not considered wrong. And, he'd give, I don't remember the reasons, 'cause this was like 5 years ago.
Mhm.
But, he'd give off, and then so he'd say, this is wrong. And they go, no, because, in this culture, to us it's wrong, but, blah, blah. and no one could really find anything that was universally wrong. However, we were able to find things that were universally right, which was taking care of sick, elderly, and children, and a couple other things. But yeah, so that's one thing that I have to say about that.
See, that I disagree with that too, because I feel like those aren't particularly right necessarily.
Well, this is across all cultures.
Yeah. Oh, like what's like perceived in like the social like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where
Gotcha.
there's every culture believes in taking care of the elderly, taking care of children, and taking care of sick. And there were some other ones I don't really remember. Those are just the three that stuck out to me.
Interesting.
So you're playing more of the good side and playing more of the bad side.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm burping. Well, Dayton, where did this thought come from? Was this one of these random things that just?
I think I was just thinking back to my relationship with him, and like how it's changed since I've moved out here, and how it's even changed since like college, and just seeing like the different paths that we've taken, I think is where it came from. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just thinking like I know that I wouldn't be happy if I were working at like, I would say a similar job like this, but I were living so close to home. Because I would just feel like I don't know the right word for it, like a burden almost to like spend time with like other people and not.
Is your
like, take
family a
time.
burden?
No, I'm not talking specifically my family by any means. I'm talking just like people that I know otherwise, and like just saying no to them when I just want to like sit at home. I'm not sure if I'd be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would kind of feel stuck, I feel like, if I was stuck in the same hometown.
Yeah.
Like, you went through all this progress to, like, better yourself, and you're back where you started, kind of a thing. At least that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, but I know who he's talking about, and he's got a pretty good job. So, I mean, to say he's back where he started.
Yeah.
At least I have a good idea of who you're
Yeah,
talking
I know
about.
who you're talking about, too, but I'm just saying, like, from my mind, that's kind of, like, the way I, like, I don't know, I don't know what I'm saying.
I totally.
To me, it wouldn't be like it wouldn't be worth it. Like that's not my end goal to like end up in the same place I grew up in.
Right. I mean,
but that's also going back to the different paths, right?
Yep.
Well, I totally agree with like your sentiment. Obviously, I'm just playing devil's advocate with like there's probably like one exception, but like I agree. It's like when Gabe's picking where to live, it's like he has to pick between Hawaii and New Mexico. Like there's no right answer. I mean, one would probably be better than the other, but like. It's not like if you pick wrong, it's like, oh, you lose, you know?
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah, and I think when I was thinking about this and I wrote it down, I was also thinking about, like, decision paralysis. And how, like, I wouldn't say always, when I moved out here and I was, like, trying to, like, find stuff to, like, get for my apartment or whatever, I was just getting so... like caught up in like the small details of like what I wanted for like this exact small thing, but I was just like, Dayton, you literally just need to go get a spatula. Like stop thinking so much about it and just go buy some fucking piece of shit spatula.
It doesn't matter if it's a red spatula, a black spatula, a blue spatula.
Exactly.
It just needs to be a spatula.
And like eventually, like it'll do its job for a little bit, and then if I figure out what I want in the meantime, then I can go get that. But
right, you can get the better one.
I think I was talking with Gabe about decision paralysis, and like,
oh yeah,
a lot of the times like it doesn't matter what your decision is. Like you're just gonna live with it. Like good or bad, you're gonna live with your decision, and a lot of the times it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Like you find a way to make whatever you want work.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
and sometimes not making a decision is like worse than making any decision, right?
Yeah.
If you just kind of go with it.
Like we were at the store the other day because I had to get some, like I said to get like rings to like hold up my shower curtain, right? And you go to the aisle and it's like, all right, there's like some nice ones for like $10, and there's just some shit plastic ones for like 50 cents. I'm like, fuck it. If they break, I'll just get new ones. Like it doesn't matter, you know? Like you just deal with it.
You spent more on gas getting there than the actual rings.
Honestly. I will say, I'm remembering there was a time in my life when I would think like this is objectively right, and it was when I was in middle school, and I was very like into the church, being a Christian and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there was like days where I just did not want to fucking go to church, whether it be like youth group or Sunday morning. I'm like, I just don't want to go. And then I would think, okay, well, if God exists, it's not going to be wrong to go to church. Like, it's like if I'm there, I'm like doing the right thing. Like, this is the
Well, just because
correct
it's not
decision.
wrong doesn't mean it's like right though. Like
Yeah, but it's
but when you're in middle school, it is.
yeah,
I'm just saying, like,
in
when
middle
I-
school, it's a lot easier to think of things as black and white.
Yeah.
it's like when I'm standing in church and I want to be playing video games. Like, well, this is the right thing to do. Though. Like, I can never be really like doing wrong if I'm here.
And that's what I
It
was
was
going to mention. Like, I think as we've gotten older, at least in my experience, I've gone from like things being black and white as good or bad, and more into like, kind of more like where Dayton's perspective was, where like not everything's pretty gray. There's not like something that's objectively right from any point of view. There's going to be someone else that like disagrees.
I feel like it's more of a black and gray kind of situation where there are wrong decisions you can make. Like you can really fuck up. But like it's hard to like there's a very few like actual like 100% right decisions that you really rarely come to those situations where most situations there is a wrong answer, right? There's
many wrong answers.
Exactly. Like any situation I can come up with the worst way to do it, the worst way to tackle this, and it would be quote unquote wrong. So
Yeah.
But also, I
just
feel like
interesting.
because you don't know the outcome to any given situation, like you can never say with any certainty, like you're saying, like nothing's ever 100% right. Because like unless you could see, let's say have a decision with two possible outcomes, unless I can see the exact consequences to both, you can't objectively say like this is right, this is wrong. There could always be some unforeseen consequence.
We need some life of strange power, or life is strange powers, where you can go forward and
Exactly.
go back in time and see how your decision played out.
Or you just like reload your save, and just
Oh,
pick the
dude.
one.
That's
I
a
wish I
video
had
game
save
for
states.
people who don't know what Life is Strange is.
Yeah.
I've never actually heard of it.
Oh well,
Yeah.
the premise is
thought it
this
was a
girl
movie.
can like go back in time, so like it'll be like do this choice or this choice, and then it'll play out, and then you can reverse and change your decision if it didn't turn out the way you wanted.
Interesting.
But even in that game, there's no like good answer because one will piss someone off and one will
Yeah.
piss another. Yeah. But,
Interesting.
yeah.
All right, Dayton, give me another thought.
Okay.
Why don't we just call this Dayton's Thoughts? That's a way better name for this.
I don't know. I like Paxi for your thoughts.
Just because you came up with it. That's the only reason you like it more.
Yes. Hey, there's no objectively right or wrong answer, right?
Shut up. Mine's objectively better.
Objectively.
Yeah.
Objectively. You are objectively wrong. All right, let's see here. Let's go with I'm not gonna do that one because that one's kind of similar, or it's on the same like
We need a new vein,
wavelength.
if you will.
We need another hot.
We've mined in this iron ore for too long. We gotta switch over to copper.
Yeah, let's go with all right, it's interesting how sometimes you just know when it's okay to leave certain aspects of your life behind. So, I think what got me thinking about this was when I was backpacking, I was thinking back to how my dad had, he's always been outdoorsy, he still is very outdoorsy, and he backpacked Isle Royale when he was in college with a group of friends, and he had a great time, he said, and then he's expressed interest to me how he's wanted to go backpacking in like the Grand Canyon or something like that and do like a rim to rim to rim hike, and I was just like, I'll do it, like I've got all my equipment, like give me a date and I'll go. But it's just kind of interesting how like he doesn't seem like he's very, I won't say like disappointed, but he's like complacent and comfortable with his decision to like have not been doing that for like the past like 20 some odd years, 20, 30 years. And like even like for us, like leaving like certain hobbies behind. Like I don't know about you guys, but like have any of you had like a certain hobby that like took up like a substantial amount of your time, and then you're just like, yeah, I don't need to do that anymore.
Longboarding in
Big
high
time.
school.
You mean besides kicking rocks as a kid?
I don't know if I've told you guys this yet, but when I was in elementary school and into a little bit of middle school,
This is gonna
I
be
was-
good. I just know.
I was super.
Just by the time frame alone.
Yeah.
I was
exactly.
insanely into Pokemon cards,
Oh,
and
okay.
every weekend my dad would drake me and my brother up and we'd play tournaments.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, we
so
knew
the-
that you went
You
to,
told
like,
that
the
because you
national
showed us all
tournament.
Oh,
your
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
cards when
Yeah,
we
the-
visited your
Yeah, yeah,
house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you
then
went
I
to
went-
something in California, didn't
Yeah,
you?
I went to the World Championships in California when I was like super
And
fucking
you
young.
wiped and you got
Did you get your ass
wiped.
handed
I got
to you?
I got ass blasted. I got last place in my age division by some German kid. God, fuck that kid. But, yeah, so like, and then one day I don't remember what it was, but I'm just like, I think maybe I just got older, and I'm just like, yeah, this is a lot of time, and I'm just not doing this anymore.
hmm
So.
Yeah, it's just I think what I found particularly interesting was like, so you obviously sunk a ton of time into that, and you
Mhm.
obviously enjoyed it, but then like something happened, and you're just like, yeah, I just don't value this anymore. Like
Yeah, he got his shit kicked, and he's like, I don't want
Well,
to
like,
do this anymore.
you would
Well,
have
like,
to
with that
imagine like that
With
would
that specifically, like a lot of it was doing my dad too, because my dad was like also super into it, and it got
Uh-huh.
kind of like a lot like pressure,
yeah.
and I'm
To,
just
like,
like,
be
I just
good.
can't do this anymore. Like I'm fucking out.
Mhm.
Dude, that's how video games get for me sometimes. You like have fun and then you get into like the competitive stuff and it's like I have to practice this and it's supposed to be for fun. Like
Well, it wasn't even
It's
that. It's like my
fun.
dad's like, you need to do good, and I'm like, okay, well now this isn't fun anymore. Like when
Mhm.
somebody else is like pushing you, and
That's
I
like
just
the
want
whole
to like,
extrinsic versus intrinsic motivation. Like, once extrinsic motivation is present, intrinsic motivation goes away.
yeah, like I'm trying to slap down some Charizards. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to, win any prize money or nothing.
well, isn't there like a bunch of studies for like pro athletes where like they love it and then they start getting paid and then like their happiness goes down or something like that?
I mean, yeah,
I could-
that's
I could be
similar.
pulling that
It's
out of
like-
my ass, but
No, I mean, maybe, but I mean, it makes sense. Like, because before it's like when you're not getting paid, then it's just like all intrinsic. You're just like, I want to do this because I enjoy it. Once you start getting paid, then you're just like, yeah, I'm doing this just for the money. Like,
right.
Yep. And it's hard to keep that objectivity.
hmm
That's rough.
Yeah, but and also like with sports, like I mean Jacob and Joseph, like both of you played cross country
Fuck off.
God
in,
damn it.
in
Kiss
high
my
school.
ass. I don't need to hear this shit.
And like I mean, you guys still run like occasionally, but like you guys aren't like out
Yeah.
running like 5Ks or anything.
Yeah, Joseph
like
doesn't
that.
run anymore.
Okay.
I don't run anymore.
Well, I mean, you have
I
bad
got-
knees, but
I
Yeah.
had I was injured in high school, and then I had a pretty bad injury snowboarding
mhm.
2 years ago. So yeah, running is out of the question for me at this point. But
For
even
me,
if it was
Knocked
even
out at
without
22.
yeah, even like without being injured, I still wouldn't run. And also, I didn't enjoy running. I'm not even gonna lie. I hated it. It was.
That's the
awful.
thing, is everyone hates it, but you still go every day.
Yeah.
And I think it's
I-
because of the people, honestly.
Camaraderie.
Honestly, I enjoyed the people that ran. I was good friends with a lot of those guys.
Mhm.
I would do it again to hang out with those guys, to meet those guys
Yep.
again, hang out in high school. I loved that. Hated going to practice every day. Hated
But the
meet-
funniest thing though, Joseph, is like, yeah, I'm the same way. Like I was good friends with those guys. We talked for like 2 or 3 hours every single day. Have not talked to them since.
Oh yeah.
I
Like-
see them on Snapchat every once in a while, but the vast majority of all of my cross country guys I've not talked to in years.
Oh yeah. The only ones I've talked to are ones that I've known before cross country.
Yeah.
Like one of my great friends in high school, he ran with me, and we were friends before then, and we're still friends. And yeah, and another one family friend. It's like, yeah, talk to him outside and
Yeah.
whatever, but
Mhm.
none of
For-
the other ones I ran with.
I think for
And
me, I change my hobbies based on like circumstances, though. Sometimes it's not interest,
Mhm.
Well, yeah, that was kind of the thing. As I come to college, I'm like, cross country here we do 2-a-days. I'm like, fuck that. I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah.
And also, like we were just saying, like I did it like for the workout, and it was fun to like do well in a race. But also, races fucking suck. They're insanely painful, and I would get really anxious before that, and I just like didn't want to do it anymore. And also being a college athlete's like a whole other can of worms where like your schedule's fucked. So the only friends you have are the people on the team, and I'm just like I'm not dealing with any of this stuff. And I did run for, that first year in college, but
yeah, with the girl that was training to run a marathon, right?
yeah, that was something. But I've been trying to get back into it recently because I just want to get in better shape because I've just been feeling very frumpy recently.
Frumpy, that's a good word.
With my body. So
I don't even know define that word for me and the audience, but mostly for me.
It's like one day and you wake up and you realize you don't have abs anymore, and you have no upper body strength. And you're like, I just need to do something, but also I'm really fucking lazy, so it's hard for me to get back into it. But I'm getting some new running shoes this weekend with Joseph. He's not gonna get any, but he's coming with me, so that'll be a good catalyst.
I'll be there for more.
You made it sound like
support.
he was gonna run with you, and he's like, no, he's not.
Well, and like it's weird because like I feel like I'd probably run a lot more, and I'd probably be better if I ran with people.
Right,
But
they push you.
Because they push you, but it's also like I also like listening to podcasts when I run. You can't really do that with somebody, and also I gotta finding a group is I could do it, but it's just easier to not, So
Cooper does a running club every Wednesday.
I don't want to run with
Join that.
Cooper.
Here's what you do: you show up, and like you have them as like a meeting point, but you just run a different route.
Then what's the point?
It forces you to go.
Yeah, you
forces you
meet
to
meet people every single week.
And like you don't run together, but at least you're meeting.
Jay's
up.
like, meeting
like-
people, that's not my style.
Well, because like for me, the hardest part is taking the first step, right? It's getting the shoes and the running shorts and all that on, and then going to run. Like that was the worst part. And then once you start running,
Once you're out there, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, getting someone to be like, okay, we're running now. Okay, we're meeting now to run. There's other people I'm meeting, and I'm encouraging them to get there too.
Mhm.
All right. And then I'll go, and once I'm there, I'll run my route. I'm not gonna skimp out on my route, that's just shitty. So.
I know, sometimes you get motivated by the things you buy, though, right? Like you're like, oh, these are $80 shoes. I can't just let them sit there, Or like last season, I bought a brand new snowboard, and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking use it. Like, if I'm gonna buy it, and I went, how many? Like, I mean, I had the class, but we went a lot.
At least twice.
Yeah, at least. We probably went
I
around.
thought you were about to add a week at the end of that, but then you just said at least twice.
I mean, am I wrong?
No.
Dayton, when you pose this, it seems like you're talking more about like activities and hobbies. But if you thought about this like in a physical sense too, like I feel like as kind of a minimalist perspective, it's like when you're just like I can get rid of this. Like I don't need to be hauling around this shit anymore.
I hadn't been thinking of it in that way.
Scrawls
but I
down
mean-
furiously.
Yeah,
It's
you
my
just-
thought. It wasn't yours.
You just hear some like. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I'm like writing on paper right by my
can hear it a little bit.
A little bit.
That'll be interesting to hear in post. But no, I haven't.
Fix it in post.
I haven't. I hadn't thought about it in that way. But I mean, it's definitely applicable, especially to me. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I've been thinking about because after the move, it's like I have a lot of shit that I could probably sell that I haven't used in a while. Like my Xbox, like I can get rid of that. Like worst case, a new Xbox is coming out in a year. Also, worst case, I can just play all the games on Xbox and PC. So it's like I don't really need it,
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, I
Something
just
like
got back moving in this week, and there's a lot of stuff I like opened up. I'm like, I fucking have this.
Yeah.
Like, it was just,
And-
and
like
you said
when-
you had that same thing too when you moved, when you got your shit back.
Yeah,
Or
I was
just
just like I had a little bit more than like a box full of stuff, like probably like a 2 foot by 1 foot box. I don't know. I don't really
Okay.
remember the size of the box. But
I'll
I mean,
trust you.
For me, like that was like a lot of stuff to get rid of because like I already didn't have a lot of stuff, and I still have stuff that I could get rid of, but at the same time, it's like I don't really have that much anymore. I think I have it pretty pared down.
I have a lot of winter stuff that I'm keeping in boxes. So
Well, that makes sense.
I mean,
still.
yeah, I feel
You
like
have,
that's
a
justified.
quarter of a winter in Houghton, yeah.
Yeah, so like I took out a few flannels for the fall. I don't.
Mhm.
I got my winter jacket, but like the rest of it, I have like ice skates. I guess I could go indoor and do the ice skating, but I have like my hockey stick and all that stuff, and just like I'm not gonna be able to use it.
Mhm.
And even my snowboard stuff, like there's a very little chance I'll get to use that, and that's all staying in bags.
They usually open up in December though.
Well,
Yeah, they
apparently
usually try
they
to open
like
around
their
December
budget
1st.
got halved or something, and they can only
What?
shoot like one snow gun this year instead of two. So
What?
I don't know. That's something Josh
Isn't that what
was
the
telling me.
experience tech fee is all about? Is giving money to them so they can
Yeah, it
fucking run
is.
that ski
Yeah.
hill?
Yeah, I mean, I just heard that through Josh. I don't know how true it is, but
I mean, if
I
it's
mean,
Josh,
I'd
it's probably
believe
pretty
it.
True.
yeah,
They,
'cause-
I don't want to get the whole thing, but like,
To
I'm
say
not, gonna, I'm
tech
not, I'm not gonna
owns
go
that
there.
is
I'm not
pretty
gonna go
rough.
there. I was gonna talk about its administrative salaries are out of control, but I'm not gonna go there. Um, I was gonna say, so like with the whole
I'm
minimalist
not gonna
thing.
go. Oh, okay. No.
With the whole minimalist thing.
I thought you were
He's
like,
gonna go
I'm
there.
not gonna go there. But while we're talking about it,
let me say this one
But
thing.
let me go
Nothing has motivated me more to get rid of shit than when I visited my parents' house a few weeks ago. I stopped by to pick up some stuff, and holy shit, they have so much garbage just everywhere. Like from when me and Sam are growing up, there's just toys and just like camping stuff. There's just shit all over the place. And I'm like, how can you live in like all of this just mess?
How can you
know?
live?
Well, because like they just like push it in like the garage and the basement and like some of the rooms, and you just don't, like if you walk in, you don't really see it. But like when you just go into like one room over, it's like, good God, there's so much just shit in here. And I understand like you have a family, you accumulate a lot of things over,
Mhm.
20 years, 20 or 30 years, but it's really
Yeah.
like to me, it's like I never want to have my house look like this. Like it's like this is like borderline hoarding. So
Mhm.
I mean, I will say, my parents kept a lot of like my toys from when I was younger, and it's paying off because now when my nephews and nieces come to visit, then they have that to play with. So
that's smart, I guess. Yeah.
that is one thing which I didn't think about, and I was like, get rid of this shit. I don't want these fucking these kids' toys anymore. But then I see my nephew playing with them, and it makes me so happy. He's like, I played with that when I was younger. Now he likes it. I don't know. I like my nephew.
Maybe that's why my parents are waiting for it for me and my brother have kids, so they can just pawn it off on us. I'm trying to find one other quick one, Dayton, but even like the small ones you have, I feel like we could go into like a whole thing about, so we can just probably end the podcast there.
We
'cause-
can bring Dayton's thoughts into the next episode.
No, this is a
I've got a
one-off.
pretty substantial list.
Nah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
pretty
bit
good.
now.
It's a bit. All right.
Thank you for listening to Apaxi for your thoughts.
Oh my God.
No, it's Dayton's thoughts.
You gotta keep it. See, this is where the
Thoughts.
divide's coming from. Jacob and I are.
How about
going
this?
back
How
All
about
and
this?
forth.
It's-
Dayton, which
Gabe,
one's
I'll
your
compromise.
favorite?
No, okay, they can comment, but let me compromise with you, Gabe. It's Apaxi for your thoughts, but thoughts is spelled Thot.
I want to know what Dayton's vote is. That's all I care
I
about.
don't care about Dayton's vote. Dayton doesn't.
It's his
no.
corner. It's
Fuck
his
him.
bit.
So
I kind of like Dayton's thoughts.
Thank you.
damn.
Okay, well, you gotta tell us in the comments because we're split 50-50.
I'd say we should make a Twitter poll, but we don't have any Twitter.
Yeah, we have
So-
no.
Yeah,
It would
follow us
be
on
us.
Twitter. Jesus Christ.
We'll put it
Oh,
on
well-
an Instagram story. We'll
We don't-
do.
Yeah,
Post
we'll do an
on
Instagram
Twitter.
story.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's this week's episode of the Interiors Up Filters podcast. Thank you for listening. Again, as we just said it, but follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter at EWF Podcast. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. Fuck SoundCloud. We're out of that bitch. Share with your friends. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Peace.
See ya.